Welcome again to the sixth edition of the Green Eye Contest. We've had some new faces as well as some old faces. Welcome to all of you. It's the sixth year that we're doing this contest, and I've been associated since the inception, and it's been a wonderful journey for me, and I hope that all of you enjoy as much as we all did being part of this competition. The idea of the contest was to, take a medium of competition or a format of competition to educate students on more aspects of environment. There have been hundreds of entries that have come this year, of which you are the 5 schools that have been shortlisted. No matter what the result is going to be at the end of the day, all 5 of you are winners, because coming this far from a large pool itself goes a long way in terms of saying how well you have done. All the best to all of you. I'm not going to take more time. A formal welcome to all the judges, and we'll get started with the competition immediately.
I like to say about IGBC. I am part of the Indian Green Building Council, and our hearty welcome to all of you. I know some of you have traveled a long ways to come here. First of all, let me introduce our jury members to you. Vinod Ganesh from the School of Architecture in Hyderabad. Farida is from the WWF, and I'm sure you all know about saving the tiger and the preserving our species. And Bala is the person who is giving the grant for us to be able to continue doing from the United Technology. And Deepa, my colleague, is of course, her father is a friend of mine, so she's like my child. Let me tell you why we started this, the green building, was so passionate about what we are doing with you. I'm very convinced as part of the IGBC that the movement that we are trying to bring in the country, green building movement, can become a movement only and only if our students take the onus of it. And we have seen that happen many, many times in the country, our country and world over. When you, at your young age, take the onus that India should become green, then only it truly becomes a movement. Otherwise it dies out. It becomes something which happened, or maybe in the archives, but we won't allow that to happen. Why is the green building movement so dear to us? Because I'm sure you are very young, but you must have seen your parents and maybe your grandparent. I am more like in your grandparent age. That all of us in India, by choice, follow what we call a green building norm. I have been working with many of the biggest and the most powerful in the country. I've had almost more than 55 years of working experience as a consulting engineer, worked with the biggest and the boldest, and some of them most horrible also, and some of them amazingly good. But none of them in India will waste just for the sake of it. Your newspaper is never thrown away. You always give it to Raddiwala. Your old shirts and clothes and shoes are never thrown away. They're all given either to somebody working with you or to a lady who will come and pawn it off against some utensils you can cook in. That's India's tradition for centuries. All we want to do is to revive that tradition. Whatever in my lifetime, I was born in 36, way back, India was truly green. I studied in Banaras, Ganga was pure. That is not the case today. These 50, 60 years, 70 years have taken their toll. We have followed the West blindly. We have become an industrialized nation at a very high cost, adopting all the modern technology. The idea is to be able to create the spark in you that you as youngsters take pride in being Indian, as I do. I'm very proud to be Indian. And that's my message. I go around the country, glad to share with you that I am not alone in the journey. We have millions of people who have joined the movement, but they're not you. We want you to join the movement. We want you to lead the movement. Then only it will truly become a movement which will sustain. Why is it important for you? Because please keep in mind, your future is at stake. Our innings are nearly over. Few more years, it won't make a dent, but you have a whole life ahead of you. Do you want to live on a planet which has no trees, which has no birds, which has no tigers? Farida represents WWF. You certainly won't want that to happen. You certainly don't want to quarrel over a bottle of water or a glass of water which is not available to you. India has to grow to 4 of India's from today in the next 25 years. I've been working with the Prime Minister's office to project, do some research, what is India's future. And we are writing in the 12th five-year plan what the states must do to make sure that every Indian has a home. Today, half of us don't have a home. Tomorrow, we will have a home. Where will the energy, water, building material come from? Unless we adopt green, they won't happen. So we devote our life to carrying this message forward. One of my most rewarding part is you people. I've been associated with the movement since the inception of it. Every time I go back much more energized that we are in safe hands. Because some of the presentations you make are mind-boggling. We could never dream of those things which you come out with. And I hope it will be the same story this year, that I go back much more inspired for the next 1 year to talk about my countrymen and to the world that our future is in safe hands, in your hands. With that, I'd like to then throw the floor open. Deepa, you take over. Thank you. And join the movement and lead the movement. Thank you.
So the order of the presentation will be through laws. So we can.
Vasant Valley School, New Delhi.
Before the presentations begin, I just want to let the students know that you are not under test, it's us who are under test. Okay?
Okay, just to, the format is 15 minutes for the presentation. You'll hear a bell after the 15th minute. And within another minute or so, we request you to wind up. Then we'll have question and answers with the judges. Can you just make one bell at 15 minutes? Don't tense them.
Ever since its establishment, 22 years ago, Vasant Valley School has inculcated respect and appreciation for nature. In the next 20 years, we hope to nurture this relationship and continue to strengthen these bonds with the community. Our endeavors are aimed towards making the neighboring Vasant Kunj community a model of green living and aim at harnessing the potential of young impressionable minds that are the future of a green tomorrow. Through our after-school outreach program, we observed that the children of Dalit Ekta camp were fascinated with the school's toilets. We discovered that there was a need for sanitation and clean bathroom facilities at the Dalit Ekta camp's quarter settlement. Though the government provides a tank of water every alternate day, we realize that they have not devised a system of distribution. There is also a lack of basic sanitation and waste management in the surrounding areas. To overcome these challenges, we aim to make the community aware of the consequences of harming the environment. As for waste segregation, we aim to teach the residents of C8 as well as the members of the Dalit Ekta camp who work as maids and servants in the community to segregate their household waste and care for the environment. Through demonstrations, plays, and interaction, we hope to ensure a greener tomorrow.
Evam nijaha paro veti, Gadana lakhu chetsam, Udar charitanam tu, Vasudha ev kutumbakam.
This shlok means that small-minded and self-centered people brand nature's resources as commodities to be divided amongst each other. However, for kind-hearted and generous individuals, the entire earth is their family, to be cherished and protected. According to the students of Vasant Valley School, bringing about any form of change involves educating and empowering people. Change comes from within. It starts with a shift in attitude and a change in mindset. Therefore, the first step to any change, however big or small it may be, is always educating people and generating awareness, because it becomes the cornerstone for creating a difference in any aspect of man's life.
Keeping this in mind, Vasant Valley School brings to you Udgaman, our environmental project which means upliftment or ascent. Through this project, we aim to continue our endeavors in reaching out to our surrounding community, educating the residents and empowering them to become agents of environmental change. In making the project, students themselves developed a vast store of knowledge which they used in designing programs as well as initiatives.
The project has a two-pronged approach which targets two groups within the 2-kilometer radius of Vasant Valley School, chosen as our larger community, the Dalit Ekta Camp, as well as the C8 colony. The Dalit Ekta Camp, consisting of 300 families, is an unauthorized quarter settlement lacking basic amenities such as well-built houses, water connections, and sewage system. The C8 colony is a suburban colony in Vasant Kunj, comprising of 450 well-to-do families. These localities have been strategically chosen as they're geographically adjacent, they're walking distance from our school, and they impact each other environmentally. Though they have different needs, they are interdependent and interlinked. For example, the residents of Dalit Ekta Camp are employed in the C8 colony as housemates and garbage collectors. Thus, waste segregation is only possible as a joint effort between both. Therefore, the residential colony as well as the squatter settlement can work hand in hand in order to minimize the problems that they face and reduce their impact on the environment. Vasant Valley School will act as a facilitator so that once the project is complete, its implementation is sustained and enduring. This slide perfectly summarizes the interdependence of our community. The children from Dalit Ekta Camp come to Vasant Valley School on a weekly basis where we educate them for our after-school teaching program. Children from the Dalit, where we educate. As mentioned earlier, the residents of the Dalit Ekta Camp are employed in the C8 colony. Similarly, various residents of the C8 colony are students, teachers, as well as faculty members in Vasant Valley School. Therefore, we will link C8 colony, Vasant Valley School, and Dalit Ekta Camp, and we will educate each other so that we can reduce our impact on the environment. This link will also help bring about new ideas for a greener tomorrow. Thank you.
Multiple visits were made in the Dalit Ekta Camp, which included taking interviews and filling out questionnaires by those who could. On the other hand, we visited the C8 colony and we visited 15 households, out of which 10 agreed to be our sample households.
Based on this, it was found that many problems exist within our community. Ladies and gentlemen, a life of dignity and respect is each and every individual's right. However, this is a challenge, firstly, because of the lack of basic amenities, such as sanitation in the Dalit Ekta Camp, whose residents don't have adequate toilet facilities because of the faulty sewage system. Many initiatives have been undertaken to construct toilets, however, all of them require immediate action by the government to repair the faulty sewage system. The other problem is that of water distribution in the Dalit Ekta Camp. Inhabitants currently avail water provided by the Delhi Jal Board. Though the government does provide a tank of water every alternate day, they have not devised a proper system of distribution of this water. Our second challenge is the problem of solid waste disposal in the C8 community. It was found and observed that many households do segregate their waste. However, all of this waste, whether wet or dry, biodegradable or non-biodegradable, was eventually mixed up by the garbage collectors. Our third and last concern is that of lack of basic education and awareness about increasing environmental concerns and related health issues, all of which are essential to bring about any change in our community. Now let's come to the issue of lack of sanitation. To tackle the problem of sanitation, we made many visits to Sulam International and finally succeeded in putting pressure on local governmental authorities for immediate and decisive action. Our recent successful meeting with the MLA also assured us that the construction of toilets and the repairing of the sewage system has already begun and will positively be completed by the end of December. As for water distribution, we met the Maulvi and Pradhan of the area initially, made the members of the settlement aware of the optimum utilization of water available to them, and also negotiated with governmental authorities for the installation of a tube well for the residents. These two being achieved brings us to our main focus or target, which is overcoming the problem of solid waste management through our efficient model of waste segregation. Firstly, we aim to teach the inhabitants of both the Dalit Ekta camp as well as the C8 colony to separate their household waste into different bags for different kinds of waste, that is wet and dry waste, which should be disposed of separately. The wet waste will then be put into our vermicompost pit and can later be used as manure in the DDA gardens. Wet waste, which includes leftover foodstuff or vegetable peels. Dry waste consisting of cans, aluminium, foils, plastic, metal, glass, or paper can either be reused or recycled. For this, we will also install different color-coded dustbins in the identified areas of our community for different kinds of waste, and instructions will be put on awareness flex boards nearby for the same.
Coming to our third and final problem, which is lack of education. Now, according to the students of Vasant Valley School, education is extremely important because it has the capability to change people's lives. And keeping this in mind, we aim to, first of all, build a community center, which includes a variety of facilities. Secondly, we aim to donate and contribute a variety of resources, including books, old notebooks, new notebooks, stationery, etc. from our school. And finally, we aim to provide better infrastructure within this community center, including things like tables, chairs, blackboards, projectors, as well as old and new computers for the acquisition of further knowledge. This community center will not only be a center for knowledge and information, it will also, ladies and gentlemen, be a center for vocational training and capacity building, whereby the members can come and actually get more information on environmental issues and develop a variety of skills. Now, when we talk about the initiatives that are taken in the C8 colony to increase awareness, the first and foremost thing is that the members of these homes in the 10 sample houses which have been selected, these members will be put through a well-planned awareness campaign, which includes a variety of things, including multiple talks, skits, and informative films. Secondly, water and electricity audits will be conducted and carbon and water footprints will be calculated of the members of these sample houses so as to assess their individual household impact on the environment. Now, based on these findings and these water and carbon footprint calculations, recommendations will be made on a fortnight basis. And these recommendations will include a variety of things to ensure that environmental preservation is actually in conjunction with economic benefit. And these will include a lot of suggestions, such as the installation of LED bulbs, switching to star-rated appliances, as well as investing in community projects like rainwater harvesting. And that's an important step that we have planned to take. Furthermore, when we talk about waste segregation, Vasant Valley students will impart knowledge about waste segregation and will ensure that our model of waste segregation is actually followed.
Through Udgaman, we plan to tackle the issues faced by the Dalit Ekta camp through generating awareness about environment and health issues, inculcating environment-friendly practices, teaching them to segregate waste and use the wet waste to make compost, and joining hands with the C8 community to recycle the waste.
Now, several initiatives have also been introduced in Vasant Valley itself. First of all, we have green infrastructure. Now, our practices, our eco-friendly practices include things like paper recycling, vermicomposting, small-scale solar lighting, as well as rainwater harvesting. Secondly, the integration of the environment into the curriculum is an extremely important role which has been played, and this integration is basically that the faculty members are going to be educated and are going to be encouraged to inculcate a variety of environment-friendly practices and environment-friendly curriculums within their subject matter. Furthermore, we have what is called the Life Skills Program. This Life Skills Program is a regular weekly lesson whereby students are basically encouraged in a variety of environmental concerns and issues. And a lot of things happen in this Life Skills Program which basically make children more aware and empower them to become agents of environmental change. Moving on to the Environment and Outreach Program, this includes our after-school teaching program as well as paper recycling and vermicomposting. Educational trips are also an integral part of our environment awareness process, and these educational trips include visits to the Baulis, visits to landfills and biodiversity parks and other places